today in support of passing the 36th Amendment of the Constitution Bill. I'm supporting its passage and I hope you will too. I support this bill because 35 years after the amendment was inserted into our Constitution, it's time to reflect on its impact, its consequences and its morality. Firstly, the 8th Amendment hasn't stopped an Irish woman from having an abortion. It has just denied a woman we know and a woman we don't know from having a legal abortion in Ireland. There is a saying where I come from, urging caution in casual conversations, and it goes, you wouldn't know where you were talking. It usually is about being careful and discreet in case we unwittingly speak ill of somebody's cousin or friend, Ireland being such a small and connected place. With abortion in Ireland, we definitely don't know where we are talking. With all the secrecy and all the shame that went on and goes on, we will never know that a woman we might meet every day, a woman listening to us again tonight, a woman listening in on the radio and television, that we are again talking about her very private, her very tough decision. That woman has to listen to us again because access to abortion care in Ireland remains a lonely, unsettled matter that needs public support to be settled once and for all. For a few years in the late 80s, my friends and my Senator Batchik and I were part of the Irish Women's Abortion Support Group. Just an ordinary group of very ordinary, middle-of-the-road women, mainstream women, offering the hand of friendship to other very ordinary, middle-of-the-road women who had decided that they needed to have an abortion. The first woman to stay with my husband and I was a woman in her 40s, expecting her 7th child. She had travelled from Finglas in Dublin. She was a mass goer, a parishioner of Father Michael Cleary, as it so happens. This was 1989, with unemployment rampant in Ireland. Her husband had just been laid off. She decided that she just couldn't have another child, so she decided to come to England for an abortion. She came by boat. I met her in Euston Station. Our group helped her out a little bit with money. She never had been out of Ireland, let alone in London before. She came back to my flat and had a bit of food with my husband and I. She slept on a rigged-up camper bed. The next day, I went with her to BPAS in Charlotte Street. The following day, to a clinic in Richmond. The day after, I met her again and put her on the boat train back to her 6 children and her husband in Dublin. I also remember a young couple who stayed with us, arrived off the Slattery's bus in Victoria Station. Scared, both still at college, not ready to start a family. Other than each other, no one knew that the young woman was pregnant. My husband and I were the first people they felt free to talk to. A burst condom, the cause of a very, very unplanned pregnancy. Not uncommon, it happens. But the young woman's uncle was a bishop. She and her boyfriend were petrified, just petrified, of being found out. It was not good enough for the woman, a struggling woman of 6 who had to travel to England in 1989, or that young woman so terrified of a crisis pregnancy, or worse, discovery and judgment by her uncle, the bishop. It was not good 30 years ago, and it's not good enough for the 10 women travelling for an abortion this very day, or the woman you may know or not know taking strong medication without medical care. So we need the 36th Amendment Bill to pass and ask people who are not extreme or hardline or harsh or unkind to repeal the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. It's time. It's overtime. It's time for us to question the morality and the sway of those who oppose abortion for any woman in any circumstance, in any country, any time. People of undoubted conviction, good people, upstanding people, but people who nonetheless, on closer inspection, because of their strongly held, unswerving beliefs, would force a girl, a victim of incest, to go through with a pregnancy, would force a woman who has been raped to go through with a pregnancy, people who would force a woman expecting a child with a fatal fetal anomaly to take pregnancy to full term, people of conviction who up to the early 90s tried to stop a woman from travelling or even getting information about abortion, the right to travel and access to information only being rectified by another abortion referendum in 1992. People of conviction who opposed tooth and nail the modest changes made in the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act 2013. People of conviction who picket clinics. Just think about that. I was in London recently and heard that this was going on in Brentford, West London, until kind people in the community took out an injunction against the protesters. Tough enough for a woman travelling from Ireland only to face a mob outside a clinic, shouting at her, hassling her, judging her. People of conviction who kill doctors involved in abortion care in the US. People of conviction who would keep the 8th Amendment in spite of doctors, obstetricians like Peter Boylan and his colleagues who tell us that the 8th Amendment compromises them, creates a chill factor, preventing them from giving the full range of healthcare as they as doctors would recommend. People of conviction content that doctors would get 14 years in jail for doing so. People of conviction who claim to love women. They do not. Their conviction leads them to being very hardline, very harsh, very unkind, ignoring the messiness of real lives and not listening. Because it is extreme, hardline, harsh and unkind to deny a woman who has been raped abortion care close to home. It is extreme to deny a girl who is the victim of incest abortion care close to home. And it is extreme to deny a woman carrying a child with fatal fetal anomaly abortion care close to home. It is extreme to deny medical supervision to a woman taking strong medication to make her a criminal. Keeping the 8th is extreme, it's hardline, it's harsh, it's very controlling, it's very judgmental, and it's very dangerous for women's health. But we can occupy a kinder middle ground than such a hardline, harsh, cold, unkind, extreme place. We can start by voting for the 36th Amendment to the Constitution today, and then we can join together, kind, decent Irish people, realistic people, and vote yes to repeal the 8th in May. We can publicly support a woman to get on with the decisions she makes with her doctor, safely, privately and decently. Repealing the 8th gives us a chance to change Ireland for the better. The roadmap for that change is the report the 8th Committee gave us and what the Minister outlined to us earlier this evening. I infamously said when I last spoke in this matter that I'd waited 35 years to speak. In 35 years' time, if I'm still alive, I'll be 91. I hope things will be better on lots of fronts. I hope, Minister, and I wish Minister Harris was here, that I'd be living at home with decent home care, with decent safeguarding legislation in place, that in 35 years a woman in Cork will not have to wait for gynecology or anywhere else in the country. I hope that the child born with a disability has all the supports he or she needs, that we'll have early years childcare and a good education in every community, that every child has a home to grow up on, not a hub or a hostel, that any young child and young person with mental health issues get all the love and support they need, that every child and young person is thoroughly educated about their bodies, their relationships and about having safe and healthy sex, that every woman and girl has the very best health care, the best maternity care, the best breast care, vaccinations that prevent cancer, the best menopause care, and I have a vested interest in that at the moment myself, free contraception, and yes, abortion care as a normal standard part of that. Let's have the referendum, vote yes and put the matter to rest. Let's spare women the trauma of travel, the threats to health of unsupervised medication, or the re-traumatisation of women who, because of our decisions, are blind and turned, who, because we allow ourselves to be browbeaten by extreme views, that we make a woman relive decisions, tough decisions she took a long, long time ago, over and over again.
Time is up.
Let's move on.
Thank you.